Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Simonetta and welcome to How to Build a Strong Foundation for your real estate business. You know, one of the things when a person does a recording of any type that they're told not to do is to ever date that recording, meaning give you a date of the recording, because that can of course mean you're going to outdate it and it will outdate itself. See, this program will never be outdated because the foundations we're going to discuss is timeless information. You see, this is now being recorded. It's October 2018. And we're now almost at the beginning of the fourth quarter, of what has been 3 or 4 of pretty tough years in most of our minds and in our industry. And it's been tough for a variety of reasons, which none are good, which are none are justifiable. And there is certainly nothing that we can't turn around and change the past because we can't. But what we can make sure we do is make sure that we take the future and don't have what we had in the past. So I'll give you an example. One of the clients I'm working with today, I told them if they would learn to work hard in the fourth quarter of 2015, right now, starting today, what they're doing for themselves is setting themselves up not only to have a strong finish for this fourth quarter of this year, but also have a great start in the first quarter of 2019. See, most real estate agents do 90% of their business over a 6-month period of time. If you really track your business and you track your transactions and you source these transactions, you'll see that and discover that most of your numbers are in that short 6-month period. So for many reasons, by the way, which none are valid. So some of the common things we do in real estate is that we generally have a 90-day period, which is not very productive sometime throughout the year for whatever reason. And then that carries you into the next 90 days. So a lot of businesses don't produce for 6 months. And the productivity time is 6 months of not getting the success that you want. So what you want to do is you want to build a strong foundation for your business. And I don't care when you're listening to this. If it's the fourth quarter of 2018, if it's the second quarter of 3 years from now, I don't care if it's the third quarter of 2026. So the most important thing is to make sure that you never allow yourself again to be in a period of time when you're not productive on a regular basis. See, you're not going to allow yourself a period of time where we don't do our jobs, we don't have the success we want, we don't have the customers we want, we don't have the income that we want, we're like, what is going to happen? So in my opinion, the only way to do this is to build for yourself is a very strong business foundation. So this particular concept that I'm going to present to you today, I actually applied to my career back in the 1990s. And now I'm starting to teach people now over the last few years of how it works and how I apply it to what I do. And in the years when I started applying it, it was a super tough market. And I spent a tremendous amount of time trying to understand myself and how to help other people understand that the stronger your foundation is and make it rock solid, as we both know, is successful. And you got to know, if you build a foundation on sand, any kind of water that comes by, any kind of wind that blows, is going to tear it away. And no matter how good the foundation, if you're built unstable, it's going to take you out. You're not going to be long term. So our job and our goal is to take the time to absolutely make sure that 100% of the time from this moment forward, that you never allow any circumstances, you never allow anything to control your business, you never let your business become poor, but only to have a good solid foundation and focus, which means really, as long as we're working and doing our job properly, we will succeed. In real estate, we know this for a fact, and you know this very well. There are 3 issues every real estate person has to master. So knowing what to say, knowing what to do, and then maintaining the mindset to get those things done on a regular basis. Knowing what to say is having scripts, having dialogue, having techniques, so you can go out there and do your job on a regular basis. And then once you really do your job, then you have the mindset that allows you to do it despite all the things that are going on in the business or in your life. So you can see in real estate, in essence, it's a really simple business. it's 18 steps, It's a simple process. However, there's a tendency for agents and professionals to make it complicated. So my job as a coach and an agent, and your job as my student teaching you, is taking what I'm teaching you and applying it, okay? So time and time again, over the last years of my teaching, it has been a challenge and to put the systems in place, because I get a lot of complaints. The system's too easy. There's got to be more to become successful. The truth is, no. Selling real estate is a simple process. See, there are buyers and there are sellers. Your job is to get in the middle. Okay? Be the person that both parties speak out. They got to seek you out to get a transaction done. A seller doesn't want to make a transaction complicated. A buyer definitely doesn't want to make the transaction complicated. Only the agents make it complicated because of lack of understanding of what to say and what to do. So whenever you and I are at a crossroads, and whenever we're confused, whenever we're not comfortable with what we should be saying to a buyer or a seller, whenever we're confused at that crossroad to do what to do to get business, whenever our head gets screwed up, or whenever our mindset gets jammed up, when things happen, the foundation, if we have one, becomes weak and crumbles if you don't have it solid. So there's 23 different steps that we're going to talk about. Okay? If any one of these steps get left out, it's going to hurt your business. Okay? So the more you understand the foundation, the more you're going to understand how to make it work. Okay? You're going to be able to put these ideas to use, the better your results will be. So, I like to help real estate people who have a desire to have a strong foundation and build a career and help them. That's my focus. The major portion of the people I work with make that happen. You see, a strong foundation for anybody in real estate is to maintain, a high production, is to maintain a high quality for a long period of time. And this is absolutely necessary. So what I want to do is I want to go through with you one at a time. And I'm going to ask each of you to write down these 23 things. I'm going to ask you to reread them. I'm going to ask you to study them, reread them, and focus on them. To consider that this strong foundation is going to be the essence of it, for anybody and what you need to do long term. It's the only way you'll do it. And I believe, again, in dating what I'm teaching you by recording this, October 2018, I'm dating this material because it'll last you 5, 10, 15 years if you study it, if you work on it, and if you use it every single day. It is a long-term process to build a great business. If you're in a rush, if you're in a hurry, if you're impatient, then probably what I'm going to talk about is not for you. Now, if your intention is to build, and your intention is to build, and you have the patience to understand, I think you're going to find what I'm going to say to you over the next few minutes is going to be really exciting and very important. And most importantly, very profitable for you. So now there's 23 points in our foundation. And let's begin with step number 1. Number 1 is having a very defined, and I want to state this, having a very defined commitment. Okay? A commitment to both your business and your personal goals. Absolutely critical to an agent's success. Having a defined commitment. Now watch this. Hold on a second. I got a phone call coming in. I'm working as I'm doing this. There we go. Let me get that on there. We may have a couple interruptions because I'm going to be working as we're doing this here. All right. Let's go back. Let me turn that phone off. Okay. So let's go back. Here we go. So back to what we're saying. The very foundation of everything is a definition to your commitment. Now, the problem I see that most people have is they never have a true commitment in the meantime. See, the commitment we make to both our personal and business goals is always done through one thing. Okay? And that one thing is education. See, now if you really look at the real estate business and you look at it, we're really the most overly educated and underly educated. See, probably as we speak here today, there's about 50 different appointments going on. Give me a second here. I can't turn my phone off because we have about 12 deals we're working on that we're waiting for answers on. So as the phone comes in, I gotta take the calls. Okay. So, as I was saying, there's probably 100 real estate seminars going on throughout the country of some kind. Now, at the same time, if you look at the education, I can guarantee you that in most cases, people are sitting there looking, nodding their heads, and not doing the one thing that they have to do. And that is making a commitment to make this career they chose work for them. See, what is the let up? Like what is that? So what is the level of commitment that you have? Are you willing to sit here and say to yourself, to your broker, to your manager, to your team, to your spouse, I am going to do whatever it takes to get this done. I will not be denied. I will do whatever has to be done. I will not fail. I will not let this not work for me. Can you make those kinds of statements to yourself? And when you commit yourself to the education portion of building a strong commitment to yourself, building yourself personally and building your business, you cannot fail. You and I both know education takes time. And therefore, you cannot put yourself in a position where you're in such a hurry, that this is going to happen tomorrow. So the one thing that I heard for years, I went to a seminar for 4 days, and if it doesn't work by next week, I'm going to go to a different seminar. And if that doesn't work in a week, I'll go to another one. And it's not a commitment. See, I think that's a person with a thinking problem. Have you ever heard of going for an education and not keep going and taking an education because you don't get it in a week? See, education takes time. Education builds a foundation called commitment for your business and for your personal goals. So number 2, I want you to write this down. So writing, understanding, and having the ability to execute a basic business plan. So writing, understanding, and having the ability to execute a basic business plan. Okay? So writing your plan is one part. Most agents will say, hey, I want to do 40 deals next year. And hey, I want to do 40 deals. Here's my plan. I got it. 40 deals. So writing is one part. Now, the most important part is understanding it. Understanding what you wrote is a totally different thing than writing it. So if you take a look at the word understand, what does that really mean? Well, I wrote down I want to do 40 deals. And I want to have 20 listings sold. I'm going to have 20 buyer contracts as well. So what does that mean? So it means, I'm going to have 20 listings sold and I want to have 20 buyer sales. Well, let's go a little deeper. What does that mean? So you probably got to take in today's market, maybe 50 listings to get those sales. And, you have to go on 75 appointments in that case. And that's what that means. It's much more than just 20 deals. So are you really committed on the business level to make that happen? It's not just writing the goal. It's now understanding the goal. And then most important, it's the ability to go ahead and make that goal happen. See, if you don't have some skills, if you don't know what to do, if you can't put it in place, you got to have a better mindset. If you don't have the skills to back up what you're writing down, you're not going to gain anything. Nothing's going to happen. So the second part of the foundation is simply make sure you can write, understand, and execute your basic business plan for yourself. Okay? Business planning is critical to everyone's success. Okay? So let's look at the month it is now and year, October 2018, and let's make sure you have a basic, solid plan going forward. So number three in the foundation is a determined effort. Having a determined effort means I'm not going to allow anything to get in my way. See, that's the kind of effort I'm talking about. So the question is, do you want to succeed in real estate? Oh yeah, I want to succeed. I got to succeed. Oh, I can do whatever it takes. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do whatever. So what did you do today to succeed? And let's see, maybe they went to an open house or, went on a bus tour, check out a house, and then we had some lunch with the staff, and then we had an ice cream party at 4 o'clock because we made a couple cold calls, and I had a soccer game with the kids at 6 o'clock. So now, if you look at that, is that really a determined effort? Okay, see, a determined effort is to do whatever it takes to get a deal. Okay? A determined effort is to master every single skill that's required to make your business go. Okay? You got to master all the sales skills, you got to master the mindset, and you got to have it all work together. You see? So it all comes to you when you're working day to day. You got to make sure you succeed at the level you want. So it's critical. It's absolutely critical to have a determined effort to make this work for yourself. Okay, so I'll say to you, we all had the experiences of having a determined effort. We all had a time in our life where nothing was going to happen, or we were going to make sure something went right, or we made sure a deal closed. We were not going to let this thing go. You're going to make it happen. That's a determined effort. Okay? I'll tell you, many times in my life, I believe having a determined effort, I would have preferred not to. See, I don't know how not to make things work. I've pushed and I push and I push. But, because I would have preferred not to be that way sometimes, because my life would have been a lot easier. However, the determined effort I have is that absolute commitment, number one, to succeed or build a foundation is critical. So number 4, you have to develop a strong time management system. So you probably, is the biggest thing in real estate. It's one of the biggest failures. So what I've seen since I've been doing this is the lack of time management and a system, really allows you to do everything you're supposed to do in the time allowed, in a day or in 5 hours or 8 hours. Having a time management system allows you to go out there and sell property, allows you to go out there and negotiate a contract and then still have a life too. So the sad part about real estate, knowing about the years prior, we had this, need to work more hours that accelerated a lot more to get beyond what we had to do. Now, as the years go on, if you want to do 100 transactions a year, back in the old days, you could do 30, 40 hours a week. Now, these days, there's so much competition, there's so much going on. To sell those same 100 transactions, we're working 50, 60 hours a week. It's almost double the time. So, which means that, you're really having to manage your everyday time effectively. And see, my question to you is, if I was standing with you next to you and I followed you around for a week, how would I rate your ability to manage your time? Would I say at the end of each day, wow, what a productive day. Man, you got this thing figured out. Or would I see you at the end of the week and be like, what the heck were you doing all week? What'd you do on Monday? You did nothing here. Tuesday, you went to a sales meeting and an open house. And Wednesday, you didn't do anything. So you would look at it, I would look at it, we would both be disappointed, both be upset. How angry would you be, and how angry should you be that you didn't get this thing done and use your time effectively? That time's gone, never coming back, man. That time management is probably as important as anything you will ever do in your real estate career. So now if you master time management, you begin to master your skills, your abilities, knowing what to say, knowing what to do, and make your mindset strong, because everything's going to be working in the same direction. So, that's it. So number 5 in our foundation. Let's go to the next one. Now, this is probably one of the hardest ones for everybody. And that's understanding that real estate is an actual business. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, wow, this guy's crazy. He must be a dope. What is it he's not getting? Obviously, we know it's a business. But listen, take a look at it. If it really is a business, are you going to operate it like a business? If you look at a person that's making $200,000, $300,000 a year in corporate America, they're in an office, and are they operating the same way day to day, the way you do? Or because they're in a quote unquote real job, they operate differently than what you do. You see, this isn't a game we're playing, this is business. And it has to be treated that way every single day. Now, it's the real estate business, correct? Okay. Now, you got to have good business principles, and you got to have good business practices, and you must follow them at all times. Things like not spending all your money before you get it. The government does that. That's the only person that gets away with it, and it's okay. But you can't do that. if you want to be a good business person, you don't pay $93,000 a year for rent. You know, you don't spend 30% of your income before you have it. You know, and you don't spend another 20% of your income, you know, before you don't bring anything back with that. That's got to be invested to bring you more business, you know? And then you sit there and then you do open houses and you sit there and pray that somebody's going to come and buy the house. Is that a good business decision? You know, we both know that doesn't make any sense at all. But sitting at the office, playing with the computer, playing with Facebook and Twitter for hours at a time and sending messages and you're going to send a message, I'm going to the bathroom now. You think people really care? See, are those really good business principles? Are they really good business practices? I don't think so. So that's it. So number 5, you got to have an in-depth understanding that real estate is a business. And my suggestion to you is to go read as many biographies and autobiographies on people who run businesses and learn from them. Learn how businesses operate. Learn how businesses are structured. Learn how business people, what they do daily and how they have a schedule. Okay, let's go to number 6. Number 6 in the foundation is unwavering determination. Okay, see, by that I mean, you know, obviously the first 5 sound similar, but they're all very different. And I want you to listen to this, okay? Unwavering determination. I mean, you're not going to let anything allow you to fail, period. You're going to achieve the goal you set, period. And you have to achieve the goals, period. You have to have unwavering determination to achieve these goals. I know things are going to get in the way. I know people are going to get in the way. I know circumstances and lenders and title companies and appraisers. Everything's going to get in the way. But you are not going to allow anything to allow yourself to not hit your goals. You're going to achieve them. Okay? You need to do it. You know? Unwavering determination. Okay? My question is, do you have that ability? Do you have that unwavering determination? So let me tell you, you know, on this one. So when you set goals, you know, in your first year in real estate. So, you know, in your first year of real estate, you're going to say, I'm going to do 50 transactions this year. It's complete and total nonsense. Okay? If you think you're going to do 50 deals your first year, you're a superstar. Okay? 3 years in business, you know, you're doing 25, 30, 40 transactions. You know, if you're going to get to 100, that doesn't really make sense either. So an unwavering determination towards achieving goals you set and provide, you know, you got to listen carefully. Listen carefully. You got to use common sense in your approach to make sure you can achieve these goals you set. Okay? Use common sense. Number 7 on the list. Okay? Now, this may be one of the harder ones. So you need to have absolute commitments. Okay? Number 7 is absolute commitment. You are not going to waver on what you are determined to do. You're not going to change your mind. Okay? The most common thing I've seen in all the time I've been training in real estate is, you know, somebody wants to go to a seminar A this week. And then if that doesn't work next week, I'm going to go to seminar B. And if seminar B doesn't work, I'm going to go to another one. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to go to another one. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try one more. I'll try that system. And if that doesn't work, and if that doesn't work, so wait a minute. Every system works if you work. See, that's the catch. The commitment is to do exactly what you're supposed to do. You see, now you're not going to waver. You're not going to change your mind. You're not going to go 3 days this week. You're not going to go 2 days that way. You're not going to go 1 day this way. You got to have an absolute commitment to a system that's going to work. That's it. You know, if I know and you know, if you really want to make sure that a business doesn't work well, waver in and out every single day. And from what you're supposed to do. Do this one day, do that another day. You know what you're supposed to do. We're here. You know, it's October 2018. You know where our market is. We know what we're dealing with. We know what problems are out there. We know where things are short. You know, we know listings are short. You know, things are starting to sit. We know there's REOs coming. You know, you got to make a commitment to make sure these things work. Period. Doesn't matter. Number 8. Okay, working daily. This, again, you know, I said this a couple times now, but this is one of the main points, is working daily to control the emotional ups and downs. through your experiences in this business. Okay? Now, why is real estate such an emotional business? You see, the truth is, real estate is a highly emotional business. And the answer is, most people, unfortunately, and I say this with nothing but total sincerity, is that most people don't have continuous controlled income and cash flow. So I said this over and over. Real estate doesn't have has flow. It has bursts. A lot of agents have no money for 30 or 60 days, and then you get 3 commission checks and you have 40 grand. And wow, oh my God, look what I got. This is great. 40 grand. Now you pay all your bills and you're broke again. So you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So because there's no continuous income flow, this emotion and it becomes a lot of what we do. I mean, the emotion gets involved. So if you don't know what to say and you don't know what to do and you're nervous and afraid, people are going to read that. They're going to feel that. See, the more you know what to say, the more you know what to do, the more you control your emotions, the more you're going to control your cash flow, the more you're going to control your day-to-day business. Okay? Real estate is an emotional business for buyers and sellers. It should not be emotional for the agent in the middle. Okay? Learn to control your emotions and know what you're doing. Okay, you got to watch what you eat. You got to watch what you think. You got to watch what you do. You got to learn to control your emotions by watching all sorts of things physically going on around you. You should exercise for your health, your emotions. You control your emotional open ups and downs. And so there it is. So number 9. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is selling yourself. Okay? Your job is to go out there and be a salesperson. You sell people on what you can do to help them. Sell them on the goals you set. Sell them on the strengths of you being a salesperson. Each of you have tremendous strengths, but you're selling yourself on those strengths. Are you using that? Are you setting your goals? Are you selling your business plan? Are you selling what your goals are and what you're going to accomplish? Are you selling yourself on the success you create? You see, we refer to this as the same thing as writing affirmations. Every single day when you start your day, you should be looking at your goals and looking at your objectives, looking at your business plan. Here we go. Oh, here we go. A lot of you guys are going to say, oh, this is a bunch of crap. Oh, this is la la land. No, I get up every morning. Excuse me. I write my goals every evening before I go to bed. I write them before I start my day, at night and in the morning. Wake up. You got to sell yourself on what you have to do. You got to think your affirmations. You got to say your affirmations, who you are, what you're going to be. You see the problems you have are negative information, and you're repeating the affirmations of negative information without even knowing it. So if you're saying to yourself, I'm not as good of a person as he is, or I'm not as good of a person as she is, see, you're repeating that to yourself time and time again. You're using an affirmation, but it's negative. Okay, you're hurting yourself. You're not selling yourself on the goals you're setting. You're putting yourself down without even knowing it. So, I know you all heard the name Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale says, it's a fact you become everything you think about most of the time. So if you keep focusing on confirming that you're going to get a listing today, and you're confirming that you're going to meet new clients today, and you're confirming you're going to follow your schedule today. Now, at the same time that you're not affirming these, I can't do well, I can't get a listing, I can't do my schedule, I can't make money, I can't do this, guess what? That's what's going to happen most of the time. So the thing with the affirmation is, if you don't use positive affirmations, you're going to create negative ones and not even know it. So how else can you create a business plan and make it work? I'm telling you guys, if you get a strong grip on building a foundation and doing this, I'm telling you, your business is going to blow up. If you sell yourself as hard as you can, every day you will win the game. Okay, point number 10 in the foundation is keep it simple. Okay, keep it predictable and simple. Make it predictable and have the systems created for yourself. Develop simple and predictable business plans for yourself. Okay, now the real estate business is a very unpredictable business because most of the times, you don't know what's going to happen next. And if you look at some of the many deals and all the criticism out there of myself, Philip Simonetta, the real estate king, and this and that and the other thing, the coaching programs. I've gone over this over and over, and I've gotten a lot of criticisms for what I'm building. And I laugh, I smile. The bottom line is we produce a certain amount, we do a certain amount of things, and you can't let criticisms come at you. So if you want to take more listings, you got to talk to more people. Don't worry about what they're going to say. Okay? You got to talk to X amount of people each day to get a listing every day. Now, if you do that the next day and talk to the same amount of people and get a listing, now you're developing a duplicatable, simple system. If I talk to 100 people and I get a listing, okay. If I talk to 100 people, get a listing, okay. It's a simple system you're creating. Now, if you're willing to call for sale by owners and expired listings, if you can predict, if you track what you do in determination of responses. And the answer to that is yes. Okay? Talking to people creates listings. So you got to have an organized presentation. You got to have a simple system. It can't be off the cuff. It can't be out of the air. It got to be simple. Okay? So I would say to you that I know a lot of people don't like organized presentations. And I know you don't like it. But listen, none of us like it. We all want to make money. You have to use a system. And it doesn't work the way you think it does. Okay? I have to have an organized, predictable, duplicatable system. Okay? And I'm telling you this for a fact. If you will track what you do, if you would download the scripts and dialogues and create your scripts and use them and look at what I teach, you can predict virtually within no more than 90, maybe to 120 days, you can start predicting any successes you'll be having. And you can duplicate that success at will if you will simply track what you do. Okay? Number 11 in the foundation, spending time each day monitoring your daily activities. Spend time every day monitoring your daily activities. So the truth is, okay, you have to have a time management system. Other than that, you have nothing to monitor. So you got to have a time management system in place and, to monitor. So you got to set your goals. You set your business plan. You have a time management system. Okay, got them all right there. 1, 2, 3. And where are they? They're sitting in your desk in a book. So what good are they? You put them in your desk drawer and they're sitting there. You have a plan. The desk is smarter than you because it's in the desk. And nothing happens. So therefore, what you have to do is spend time monitoring those things that I said what to do. You see, you should be checking on yourself all the time. Okay, I said I'm going to do this. Okay, I did this. Check it off. I said this, I'm going to do it. If I did not get it done, I got to ask myself why. And I got to do this every day so I can continue. See, the problem that most of us have is we don't have a time management system. We're not monitoring the activities that we're involved in. And we can't see any success coming to ourselves because our system is not predictable. Okay? So if we can't see success coming to ourselves, then we get frustrated on a regular basis. So spending time, now listen carefully, okay? Spending time each day and monitoring the actions we do is critical. Okay, you got to have a checklist every day. As things come along, you check them off the list. If you're not doing it, don't check it off the list. And if you're doing them, check them off the list. If you're creating habits day after day, 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, keep checking it off. You see, when you start monitoring what you do and you start checking up on yourself, that's when you're going to have the greatest growth as a real estate professional. But most of us aren't going to monitor. We aren't going to check on ourselves because we don't want to see the truth about what we're doing every day. Okay, number 12 in the foundation. Understanding, therefore, and benefiting from outside accountability on an ongoing basis. Okay, so how fascinating to me is that we're the only industry in the world that offers almost no accountability at all. So there's really no accountability. When I started off in real estate, there was nothing. There's people out there saying that, hey, I'm a real estate coach or this or that, the other thing. They ask me, like, what are you doing? I'm a real estate coach. No, that's not a coach. That's not a coach. That's a mishap. See, a coaching business is when I put together a company, when I help you set a plan, set a goal, teach you how to get there, hold you accountable, and I confront you on a regular basis. You see, there's virtually today 1 million real estate people that are not being held accountable for anything. And it's really, what's really going on, it's going on and going on more and more every day. And I rather hold you accountable and you get mad at me. You get angry with me because you don't want to receive the accountability. You see, accountability is a name of the game, okay? And there's nothing out there more important than it, okay? You want to be accountable for everything you do at all times. From waking up in the morning on time, to making your bed, to eating your food, to exercising. If you don't have consequences for that accountability and you're afraid of confrontation, guess what happens? Nothing. Okay, so you're going to exist. So the biggest problem in real estate is probably the lack of accountability. And the biggest challenge we all have is accepting the accountability to being the key to the game. Number 13 in the foundation is making decisions that you're willing to be coached. Make a decision, a choice, that you're going to be coached, and you will develop the skills that a coach offers you. You see, I really believe that one of the questions we have to ask ourselves is, how coachable am I? And I want to give you an example. So I was out playing golf yesterday down in Miami, and we're out there playing a game, couple friends, and they asked me if I ever played the course before. And I said, and he told me, he said, on this particular putt, it breaks more to the right than normal. So I looked at it, checked a couple angles. I thought he was right, so I calculated and I made the putt. And you see, this is an advantage I have. I'm coachable. I took the advice and I used it, and it worked. So my question to you is do you? So a lot of people say, no, I'm not taking the advice. I went into real estate because I'm an independent contractor and nobody's going to tell me what to do. It's my job. I'll do what I want. So I don't want to be told what to do. If I want to be told what to do, I'll go get a job. So if you never want to be told or coached, take the advice. Look around. Listen to what you're being told. Look around and analyze it. If it makes sense, do it. And look around at everybody that's successful around you. And if it works for them, follow it. See, that's one of the skills you have to develop if you want to have a sharp and successful business. So let's go to number 14. Number 14 is really critical. Let's go to number 14. Again, it's one of the toughest, and I know I said that many times, but number 14 is one of the toughest, and that is, we have to learn to remove our ego. Got to remove our ego from the equation of doing business. Okay? So, kind of the dying's last word is from everyone is the same. Don't you know who I am? And the answer is no. Nobody cares who you are. Do you think people really care that you're the top agent in your office? See, agents think that the public care that you sold 30 or 40 homes last year, that you sold $5-10 million in real estate. They could care less what you did. Okay? The world's full of propaganda. The world is full of ads and commercials. Okay? The more that's out there, it's less effective. And who's the greatest perpetuator of that? Real estate agents. How can everybody be number one? An office that doesn't sell many homes, it's bizarre. So watch what your main concern should be. What you do with your customers. That's your main concern. What you do with your customers. So if you wrote the word ego down on the page and you cross the letter E off of it, it says go. Go do something. Go be productive. Go do something. Go get successful. If you put the E back on, you start thinking about yourself and how important you are and how wonderful we are and how great we are. So what a bunch of crap that is, So when you walk into a presentation based on ego, instead of based on fulfilling a need for a customer, you're walking a fine line and you're going to fall off that line and you're going to get hurt on a regular basis. So do you want to fall and get hurt, or do you want to listen to somebody else? Get your ego out of this business. Okay? Remember, we're the only business where ego is allowed to be in the business. Like, in the business. My broker this, I do this, we do this. Come on. If this guy doesn't like what I have to say, I'll go work at this office. If this guy don't like what I have to say, I'll go over there. You can't do what you want. Everybody thinks they can do what they want. And what a stupid attitude that is to have, as you know. And as you know, a lot of real estate people have that attitude. Get the ego out of the way and let's work in a better fashion starting now. Okay? Number 15 in the foundation. Okay? I would put a star next to number 15. Very important. Okay? You got the elimination of greed. Okay? Eliminate greed from the foundation of your business. Okay? So you can't have everything. Where would you put it? Make sense? So you gotta look at this. So I wish, here's a thought. Go to work hard, and get what they got if you want what they got. Okay? Don't look at another agent and say, wow, I want to be with him. Don't be greedy. Okay, greed is a factor. Emotions get in the way. And whenever you have emotions in the way, and whenever you have a lot of common sense, the greed is gonna come in there and take over. Okay? So isn't it sad when most agents, greed becomes a major factor in a person's life? You see, if you remove greed from a sales process altogether, and you remove it from everything you do day to day, you will certainly make everybody happier and do better. So some people say, hey, I'm a really competitive person. And most people here say, we're all competitive. What's the point? Well, they say, I'm really competitive. I want to beat everybody. Well, try this on for a thought. Instead of beating the heck out of everybody and getting everything they have, which is greed, personified, right? Why not just achieve your goals and focus on what your business plan are? Do your plan. Don't worry about them. Focus on your goals and be greedy about that. Get it done. When the market goes down, two things happen. And when the market goes up, other things happen. When it's changing, agents cut their commissions because they want to have a listing. They take prices that are high. They may take a listing that they normally wouldn't take, but they're so afraid someone else is going to get that listing, they're afraid to be honest with the seller, and they're just going to take an overpriced listing and never sell it. So if you're taking that scenario and you're looking at that, and you're taking commissions and listings over the price, you're greedy. If you're cutting commissions, you're greedy. If you're listing property and you know in your heart you can't sell it for that price, you're greedy. So building a strong foundation in real estate, you have to make sure that you eliminate greed from this entire scenario. Number 16 in the foundation, that is striving to control your expenses. Now this is a hard one, and most people don't want to talk about this. And I'm one of the few coaches and people that will. Now, if you're going to work this hard, and it's really hard. It's the highest paying hard work that I know of, but it's also the lowest paying easy work. So if you don't do anything all the time, you don't get paid. And you have no stress. But if you're going to go out there and grind, and you're going to go 50, 75, 100, 200 transactions a year, which we're doing, you're going to be willing to go out there and do it. You're going to make a lot of money. But here's the interesting part about it. Are you ending up with a lot of money? See, if you're spending $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month on advertising, and you're not getting virtually 5 to 6 times that back every month, guaranteed, you're making a terrible mistake. Okay? You have to learn to control the income that you have. And you have to learn to control where that money is going to go. You have to learn to be in control of who you are and what you do. And what you're doing, and you have to make sure it's better than what you were doing in the past. So number 17 in the foundation, okay? Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close. We're at 17. We're 40 minutes in. We got a few minutes left. And I don't want to drag you guys too long, but bear with me. And this is a lot of stuff you got to put in place. I know you're going to not start doing this all simultaneously. And I hope we get to meet sometime at one of my seminars, or you can give me a call. We can talk on the phone. Or if I'm in your town. So a lot of people tell me they listen to this audio, and now I'm making it a video, and I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. But let me get to number 17. Okay, so it's a commitment to building a strong business through efficient and consistent processing. Oh man, here we go. I knew this was coming. I knew he was going to talk about prospecting, right? So they always say this guy's never going to be able to do anything without talking about prospecting. So just wait a minute. How in the world can you ever expect to build a business and not have a way of getting customers? How can you build a business and not have a method of finding people that you want to talk to? How can you build a business and not have a method of bringing new people to you on a regular basis? See, if you think that you can build a business without some kind of commitment to efficient and consistent prospecting, you're not. It's not going to happen. See, we're one of the only sales businesses in the world where prospecting is not required. We don't even put that as part of the scenario. So, you know, we put bus benches, we put billboards, you know, we put signs up, we join this club and we join that club and we do this and I network. So we're the only business that don't have to prospect because we do all this. And we put it on the benches or on the signs or wherever you like to put it. Hang it on a tree, whatever. So if you want to do 4, 5, 6 deals a year, go ahead and do that. But if you want to be a contender and if you want to be in the business of making money, you got to do some consistent prospecting. So, you know, I've been doing seminars and trainings and consultings for other people outside of real estate, not just in real estate. And I start talking about prospecting, and some of them raise their hand, and they say, you know, we do that for 8 hours a day. You know, in a real business, that's what they do. They're on the phones. They're prospecting. I recently met with one of the hotels here in Fort Lauderdale I'm doing some consulting with, and they're really great people. And he goes, what exactly do I teach them in real estate? And he goes, you know, I told him I teach him about prospecting. And he looked at me dead in my eyes. And he goes, don't real estate people prospect every day? And I laughed at him. Well, I told him all my clients, all my students prospect every day. But 90% of them don't. And he looked at me and he goes, wow. He goes, right now we have 10 people downstairs in a small room. And they prospect 8 hours a day. They're on the phone, setting appointments, talking to people, making things happen. Now, if that guy took that concept into real estate, he'd make $500,000 a year. So he tells them, don't tell them. He told me not to tell the people on the phone. Don't tell them. Let them there. They're good. So I told them they would make $500,000 a year. So, you know, it's kind of amazing that the prospecting and getting in front of people and explaining to them what you do and how you can make it work and sell your prospecting system, you know, for 2 or 3 hours a day, and you sit there and you prospect and you go through scripts and you call and you're helping people and you set up a competition. You know, you do things, you have fun with it. You see how you set appointments. It's all about communicating with people. It's all about talking to people, building relationships. It's all it's about. And if you can make a relationship and just launch it and just follow it up and nurture it, and people see you truly care, you know, they know you want to help them and they know you're authentically in it to help them. You see, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. You develop relationships and it turns into leads and appointments. Okay, let's go to number 18. Okay, having a strong commitment to your past clients and center of influence. Okay, so I had somebody come to me a few months ago, and they brought me a set of training that was done probably a few years ago that we did in financing. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was one of my first training programs that I did on some financing. And I'm looking back at the program, and it's focused on different things and what's involved in the program. And it was kind of funny because it's a little bit out of style. And I'm thinking, hey, look, I look pretty cool there. and I asked him, I said, what did you learn from listening to this? And the guy told me, he goes, you know, all of us are working on past clients and center of influences. And this is years later. And I told him I'm still going to hammer that, and I'm still going to go over that because you're going to increase your sales 30 to 40%, because that's going to come from your past clients and center of influences. And the other 60 or 70% comes from your prospecting every day. So you see, your strong commitment is working with your past clients and center of influences every day. And it's going to make it more profitable for you. So number 19 in our foundation is another pretty big one that we talk about late in the foundation. Because if I talk to you about this early in the foundation, you probably turn it off. So number 19 is learning the numbers. Okay, and this is still one of the hardest things for all people in real estate. And learning how to adjust your skills and your activities based on the numbers that you learn about. So I'll give you an example. Back when I started in the real estate business, I'm talking years ago, and every day, at the end of my day, I would track my numbers. So how many people I talked to, how many leads did I generate, how many presentations I went on, and how many listings and sales that I made that day. And I just thought, I was kind of nosy, and I was trying to kind of figuring out what I need to do every day. And then every Sunday, I look back and I track my numbers for the week, how many I talked to, what did I do, what I discovered after 3 or 4 months of doing this. I could virtually look at these numbers and say, look, I discovered something. Every 43 people I talk to, I get a listing. So every time I talk to 43 people, every day, I get a listing. Almost every day. I just track my numbers. And then what I did was I learned from the numbers. I'll give you an example, is I created like a tracking system for my coaching and for my own use. And I have an analyzer that I created, which is probably one of the most important tools I use in my business and when I'm working with my students and the people I'm coaching. So what it does is it allows us to track everything you do, very simply, every day, by just writing down every number. And then we calculate ratios. We look at our weekly ratios. We look at our monthly ratios. And every month, every week, we can look and see every one of this leads to that. Every one of these blanks leads to that blank. And you have to just write your numbers down and calculate it weekly. So, I'll get a call sometimes from one of my clients, and they're like, hey, this is Jim from wherever, and I had 9 listing presentations, and I got 1 listing. So, okay, so I say, let's look at your numbers. So we'll go through the numbers, and I had this many contacts a day, 6 days a week. So I had 10 contacts a day, 6 days a week, so that's 240 a month. And I looked at it, and so you went on 9 appointments. So how many did you sell? 1. So do you call your past clients and center of influence? And I ask them, do you do this? Do you do that? By asking these qualifying questions. And I ask them, do you ask them the qualifying questions that I show you? And they're like, oh, well, no, I don't like all the questions. Well, I'm not asking you if you like the questions. I'm asking if you're using them. Because they'll say, oh, well, some of the questions you ask are rude, or some of the questions you ask aren't. So I'm thinking to myself, you're not asking all the questions, and that's why they're not getting the listings. Everything is a system. Everything is created perfectly. If you don't go through the system and use it perfectly and track the numbers, it's not going to work. So shouldn't you know instantly? And the second I realize what part of the system is not working, I know where it's off, and I adjust that with you. So we're going to go to number 20 now, okay? Now, number 20 is working every day on the basics of the business. Okay, number 20 is talking about the basics. You got to prospect every day. You got to follow up every day. You got to go on presentations every day. You got to negotiate contracts every day. Okay, now what if, let your imagination run wild, what if 80% of your day was spent doing one of the 4 basics of the business? Okay, prospecting, followed up, going on presentations, or negotiating contracts. If you do those 4 things every day, would you do more business? I can't hear the answer, but we all know it is. Yes. Okay, I know it. So the 4 things you have to do is prospect, follow up, lead follow up, biggest thing. You have to go on presentations, and you got to negotiate contracts. 4 things. So I understand, and I'm going to tell you this up front. I don't know why this is so hard for so many people. I don't know why the simplicity is so complicated. But one thing I will tell you, it is very complicated for most people because of point number 21 in the foundation. And point number 21 is practicing and rehearsing the scripts and dialogues until they become part of who you are. Okay? They got to become part of your sales thinking. Now, I know what people do. The first thing they want to do is take the material and edit it. Well, I don't like this question, and I don't like that word, and I don't know what this is about. But wait a minute, I'm confused. I didn't hire you to be my editor. You're hiring me to teach you how to sell. And now you're telling me what I'm doing to help you is wrong. That's ludicrous. That's crazy. My systems work. I use them every day. Practice and rehearse these scripts and dialogue until they become who you are. And then they're an automatic response when you get those objections. And then you'll get the contract signed. It's that simple. Practice and rehearsal. Okay? I went to an interview a while back on television, and it was about Dancing with the Stars. And I don't remember who it was or which group. They were talking about the couple dancing. And they said they've been practicing about 8 hours a day for 8 weeks. And I thought, oh my God, I mean, can you imagine how good they'd be in real estate if they practiced and did 8 hours a day? Imagine if you were an actor or an actress making a movie and you discovered the movie takes 8 months to make because most of the time it's been practicing and rehearsing the different phases of what you have to say and do during the movie. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? And as many of you know, a professional basketball, baseball, football, hockey team, professional actors, singers, dancers, they never stop practicing to be the best. If you're not going to do anything else, for God's sake, please practice to get your scripts practice and your communication. Okay, number 22 is understanding the importance of lead follow-up and pre-qualifying. And that is the biggest disaster that I see in real estate of all the years I've been in it. And it's the fact that agents will work and prospect as hard as they do and generate leads and never do anything about it. It's insane. Okay? I have a computer system. I have a lead generation system that brings me 100 leads a week. It sends flyers. It sends emails. It sends follow-up. But wait a minute. If somebody tells you they want to buy a house, well, what'd you do? Well, I put it on my computer. Well, why don't you make a note and call them and set up an appointment to sell their house? I mean, they say, oh, well, wait, the follow-up system sends information and emails and follow-up. Well, wait, what's going on here? Is the computer selling the house or are you? All this crap and all this garbage and all this stuff out there spreading around. Don't get me wrong, social networking, this stuff we're doing, it's very important. But it's a bunch of crap when it comes to selling something. You have to sell it. Don't let these people sell you to buy systems that just follow up. They want you. They need you to sell. They need your attention. Some people you got to get in front of. You got to be there. You got to get in front of them and sell. So if that's not going to work and they're not ready to go to the next. Follow up, lead qualify. Follow up, prospect, follow up, lead qualify. That's it. Now we're going to go to the last point, number 23. Learning that rejection is part of the process. Okay? Rejection is part of the process. So getting rejection is part of being a salesperson. I cannot understand in my life that some people in real estate think that because they're real estate people, they shouldn't get rejected. See, real estate is the business of rejection. Okay? I'm told I've been talking to, thousands of people at seminars and I've done programs and workshops and I talk to people online, social media, and for the life of me, like it's not strictly the real estate industry, other industries. And I'll tell you for a fact that somebody takes what I teach and use it, I'm thrilled to death. And then they call me and they tell me, wow, that system really works. So I love when that happens. But I also know for a fact that if 10% of the people I speak to do what I say, I'm doing jumps and flips all day because most people aren't. 10%. I get excited. Now listen what that means. 10% of the people I talk to do what I tell them. 90% don't do anything I tell them. So that means I'm rejected 90% of the time in my life. So you don't have to be rejected 90% of the time if you do your job right. If you follow the system, if you do your job. But I'm telling you, as long as you're rejected, it's part of the sale process. Okay? So, what do you get? People say, I don't like being rejected. I take it personally, and oh my God, it hurts. But listen, toughen up. Toughen up. You know, if you're married, does your spouse do what you say? If you have kids, do your kids do what you say? It's part of life. You're going to get rejected. So number 23 is the fact that rejection is part of life. And therefore, you know, the more of it you get, the more used to it you get, and you got to get used to it, and the more you can accept it, and the more you'll succeed. So if you can see, you're probably going to have to go back and listen to this a dozen times to get all the 23 points written down. But really what I want you to do is understand that this foundation is the beginning of your great new career in real estate, starting now. It's not the end. It's not the end all of anything. It's not the end all of how to be in real estate. It is the beginning of you becoming a better and more qualified, profitable real estate professional. And I want to thank you for taking the time and spending it with me. Please message me on Facebook anytime you guys have any questions. Send me an email, send me an instant message, anything at all if I can help you. I'd love to see you guys at one of my upcoming seminars, and hopefully we can get to know each other. So thank you for spending the time today and being here with me and learning the 23 principles. Have a great day. Thank you.